What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing the most toxic team for the Retro Cup in my opinion, with Shadow Girafarig in the lead, Bruxish as the save swap, and Espeon as the closer. Psychic type damage is only resisted by other psychic types in this meta, so Confusion plus Psychic Fangs on 3 glass cannons is a devastating combination. I was able to go positive in every set whilst running this team, even with my Wi-Fi acting up, so I can once again recommend this team if you want really fast battles, but also the ability to climb your ranking. It does struggle against the likes of Cresselia and Deoxys, so if you wanted to make an adjustment, you could potentially run Bite on Bruxish, but I wanted to keep the triple confusion theme for this video. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What's the best fast move for the current Retro Cup meta? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we need Shadow Girafarig into Dunsparce, and I have to say, yesterday when I did these battles, Dunsparce was like the most common lead I saw, typically with a double ghost backline, or at least a Frostlass, and then something else as the third Pokemon. Here we're going to swap into our Espeon, and we do bait out the Frostlass now. I'm not sure if the opponent knows the counts here. We could be running Shadow Ball. I am running Shadow Ball. That was not enough for the Shadow Ball, but we do grab the shield. And now the crazy thing here is that the opponent threw on alignment there, and that allows me to fully confusion farm them down. So even though they're a ghost type, unlike the dark typing, they don't resist psychic. So I'm fully able to fast move farm them down. Shield once. I've now used my second shield there, but I've got 100 energy to throw my Psychic Fangs into the Dunsparce. They've got a Lantern in the back. We can go for another Psychic Fangs. This will debuff them, and now I'm going to swap into my Bruxish, and I will just about be able to make it to a Psychic Fangs as they reach the Thunderbolt to take out my Bruxish, but that gets the Lantern incredibly low, and remember, we've already got a Psychic Fangs loaded on my Shadow Girafarig, so here, we actually don't even need to throw our energy. We go for the full confusion farm down, and we take that game. So into the next battle, we see Cresselia in the lead. Now this is really tricky because of course Cresselia does resist the confusion damage, but it's a very bulky psychic type Pokemon, so honestly these do not chunk whatsoever. The opponent goes for a Moonblast, I do let it go through, and now I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt here, over farming quite a fair bit before I throw, just to throw off my opponent's counts potentially, and the opponent banks a charge move. They didn't want to expend their energy on such a low health Girafarig, so they swap out there into the double. We go for the Psychic Fangs, swap into our Bruxish, and we're going to respect either the payback or a wild charge. It ends up just being a body slam, but we can now safely let the second body slam go through, as that will not be enough damage to take us out, and we do come out with a crunch loaded, so if they come back in with the Cresselia, which they do, we can go straight for a crunch, and the opponent doesn't respect the damage. Crunch, a bit of an unusual charge move for the Bruxish, but they've got a Zangoose in the back. Now this is really scary. They've already got 5 Shadow Claws worth of fast move energy, so I know that they can go for 1 Shadow Claw here, throw the Night Slash, and they're going to be 3 away from the next charge move. We can only go for 1 Confusion, then we're going to pause for 2 turns, swap, and we catch the charge move onto our Shadow Girafarig. Night Slash takes us out, but we can easily Confusion farm down the Zangoose and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Girafarig into Haxorus, so they are running counter, so unfortunately this is the only psychic type on the team that takes neutral damage from counter. They go for a Breaking Swipe bait, although I say bait, it probably would have taken us out anyways. This team is very classy, but so is Haxorus as we take them out with a Psychic Fangs that was debuffed. They come in with a Alolan Marowak, they swap here, trying to catch a charge move, but we go for a Psychic Fangs into the Lantern, and with such a massive energy advantage, we make it to a crunch. This will do more damage than a Psychic Fangs, and it nearly takes out the Lantern, but it doesn't quite, but it does put them into range where we can easily confusion them down with our Girafarig. So I'm going to come back in with the Girafarig, knowing that they can't go for a ghost type charge move here as we do resist it, so they're likely just going to go for a Bone Club. So I'll let the first move go through. I'm not going to go for the Psychic Fangs, I will bank it for the end game, but I don't think it matters here. We can safely shield this up. It will be the Shadow Ball, and now I can fully confusion farm them down. They still had 2 shields remaining, but I'm able to take that game. So into the next battle, we see Shadow Girafarig into Pidgeot. So typically Pidgeot users will be going for that Feather Dance debuff. So I'm going to go for a Psychic Fang straight away, getting off the charge move before they get off theirs, and I will let this move go through. But the opponent actually goes for the Brave Bird. They take us out, and they've got a Licky Tongue in the back. Now, this is quite quite scary because my Girafarig does resist Lick, but both my other Psychic types actually take super effective damage here. But these Confusions and Psychic Fangs are really going to chunk this Licky Tongue. We've already got them into the red health, and we should be forcing a shield here. No, they just let it go down. They've got Frost Sass in the bag, and we should actually be in a pretty good position here. We go straight for a Psychic Fangs. I will be able to make it to a second Psychic Fangs, especially since they throw on alignment. They go for the Shadow Ball as well, but we start lagging here, and now this is really painful. I'm hoping the fast moves are still going through, but no, they get to the charge move here. Shadow Ball will be taking out my Bruxish. They come back in with the Pidgeot. We get the farm down, but we're just too low, unfortunately. I would have easily got a shield with the Bruxish or just taking out the Frostlass in that game there, but unfortunately with the lag we do end up losing. But into the next battle we see Shadow Girafarig into an opposing Girafarig, so I'm actually going to swap out of this matchup here, and we do end up baiting out a Dunsparce. I say baiting it out like we needed to get it out. We didn't really need to do that, but it doesn't really matter. We are going to go for the Psychic Fang straight away. We should live the one charge move, so I'm going to let it go through. It is the drill run, and we can go for a Psychic Fangs here, throwing on the CMP Tide, but the opponent goes for the extra fast move, and they just barely hang on there, which is unfortunate. But I don't really care. I'm going to let it go down, come in with my Shadow Girafarig, and we're now even on energy as they did get one Confusion off before swapping out. I know this is just going to be a Psychic Fangs, but I do also know, given that I'm using a triple Psychic Fangs team, that it does start to add up with all the debuffs. So I go for a Psychic Fangs debuff. The opponent then swaps and catches the next charge move onto a Wall Rain, and now we're going to come in with our Espeon, go for the Psychic Fangs straight away. They haven't thrown their energy yet, and Psychic Fangs is going to grab the shield from the opponent, but at this point I should just be able to fully Confusion, farm down the Wall Rain from this range before they get to another charge move, and then we get to the Psychic Fangs on the CMP tie. This will grab the final shield, or they'll just let it go down. It does grab the final shield. The opponent also throws a Psychic Fangs. It doesn't take us out, and now a Confusion will take out the Girafarig, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Charizard in the lead, so I'm going to stay in this lead matchup initially. They're actually running Fire Spin, so interesting from the opponent. I'm going to shield this up, and then I'm actually going to swap into my Bruxish. I don't want to use a charge move, but I don't want them to get to a charge move as well. They now come in with Victory Bell. They're doing so much damage with the Razor Leafs, but look at the Confusion damage. We nearly take them out there at the same time, but it doesn't really matter. We can come in with our Espeon, go for the Confusion farm down, and the opponent's going to come in with a Shadow Dragonair. We're going to go for the Psychic Fangs here. This should grab the final shield from the opponent. It does grab the shield. They do get a full Dragon Breath farm down, but we come in with the Girafarig. We had the Psychic Fangs loaded, and this takes out the Shadow Girafarig. One Confusion takes out the Shadow Charizard, and I'm able to take that game. So into the next battle, we see Shadow Girafarig into Frostlass. So I'm going to stay in this lead matchup initially. No, what am I talking about? I'm going to save swap into my Bruxish. We actually go for a Psychic Fang straight away, which is kind of questionable there as we don't grab the shield, but we bait out a defense form Deoxys. Now, if they don't know we're running Crunch, then we might be able to deal big damage here in this matchup. We let the Rock Slide go through, and this Crunch, if we can land it, will do huge damage, but the opponent does respect the damage. They use the shield, and now it's not looking too good for us. We come in with the Espeon as we do resist the counter damage. I'm actually going to let this move go through, knowing that the Frostlass does have a charge move loaded. So we're going to shield in this matchup now. They go for a Psycho Boost. I'm going to go for a Psychic Fangs. I don't really want to throw a Shadow Ball, but now what I'm going to do is swap into my Girafarig and go for the Confusion farm down, but the opponent banks a charge move before swapping into their Primeape, and Psychic Fangs nearly one-shots the Primeape. We get the Confusion farm down, and the opponent's going to come back in with the Frostlass here, and we should just be able to fully Confusion farm down the Frostlass from this range here. We get the farm down. We've got a move loaded on the Espeon as well, so this should grab the final shield. We can let the Girafarig go down, and we should be able to win this game here. The opponent goes for the Psycho Boost, but I forgot which side the charge move was on, and I accidentally went for an extra Confusion. I thought it was on the left for some reason, and the opponent only needed one counter to make it to another Psycho Boost, and they're able to take me out. So that was really unfortunate, just because I'm using a new team that I forgot which side the charge moves were on, but it does happen sometimes. But into the next battle here, we lead into another Dunsparce, going for that Psychic Fangs straight away. and we can live one charge move from the Dunsparce, so I'm going to let it go through. The opponent then swaps into their Frost Sash, so I'm going to go for the Psychic Fangs here, debuffing their defense, and now I can come in with my Bruxish. I can use one shield, and then I will be able to fully Confusion, farm down the Frost Sash, and I'm going to come out with a Crunch loaded once again. So they come in with a Jellicent, we go straight for a Crunch here, probably not expecting it to be a Crunch, and it does connect. It is super effective, it doesn't do that much damage, but it just makes this matchup so much more comfortable. We now go for a Psychic Fangs, getting the debuff, getting a shield, and now we can let the Bruxish go down. The opponent does go for the Shadow Ball, taking us out, but I can come in with my espeon here, and at this point I can safely let this move go through, go for a full farm down. No, I'm actually going to use a shield here, doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to swap into my Shadow Girafarig, one Confusion takes out the Jellicent, and I'm able to take that game. So into the next battle, we see Jellicent in the lead this time around, so pretty comfortable matchup for our Shadow Girafarig, although it's quite awkward when we need to throw our charge move, because ideally we want to go for 2 Confusions here before throwing, but unfortunately that will allow them to get to another Surf, so I only go for 1 Confusion here. We go for a Psychic Fangs bait, but then we swap, we catch the charge move onto our Bruxish, and I know it is just a Surf, so that ends up being pretty good for me. We can now go for a Psychic Fangs into the Primeape that comes in, so not really sure why they come in with a Primeape unless they're running a double fighting type backline, which if that's the case, then this should be a very comfortable matchup for me now. I can come in with the Espeon, go for the Confusion farm down, and I'm expecting the Jellicent to come back in, but we are just going to go for a full Confusion farm down to take out the Jellicent, and it is another fighting type. It is Machamp, probably a Shadow Machamp, but we can go for that Psychic Fangs, getting the debuff, and look at that Confusion damage. It is absolutely insane, so the opponent just concedes the match. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Girafarig into yet another Dunsparce lead. The opponent safe swaps into Deoxys, so this is not too good for us. I'm going to go for a Psychic Fangs here, as I found pretty much everyone shielded the Bruxish anyways, so I might as well just debuff them before coming in. And I've got a call, are they running Thunderbolt? It's a Rock Slide, so very unlikely, so I will be able to let the next move go through. Honestly, I could have gone for that Crunch there straight away, force the shield, or just take out the Deoxys instead of taking that damage, but I do go for the Overfarm. Now I go for a Crunch. We have a ton of energy, but they do end up shielding. Gonna go for a Psychic Fangs here, just making sure I get off this damage, but they do let the Psychic Fangs go through, and now they do get to a charge move, but that's okay. Psycho Boost does take me out, but I can come in with the Espeon, go for the Confusion farm down, and let's see what the opponent wants to do here. They're going to come back in with the Dunsparce. We're going to go for a Psychic Fangs. This is going to debuff their defense, of course, as it has done for the entire video, but we can let one move go through. We're actually going to shield up the Drill Run though, and they've got a Noctowl in the back, so I definitely think it's a mistake to shield up the Drill Run there, knowing it's not going to do that much damage realistically. But here, I try to catch a Shadow Ball, but honestly, they can just go straight Sky Attack here. They do go straight for the Sky Attack, and I'm just going to concede the match there. So yeah, I shouldn't have shielded up against that Dunsparce, but I don't think I would have been able to take that game anyways, but GG's to that opponent. And what a surprise, another Dunsparce in the lead. So whoever made a Dunsparce double ghost team, it seems to be very popular, so congrats, you probably got a lot of views on that video. But we are going to stay in this matchup. We are going to let the Drill Run go through, and we're going to go for the Psychic Fangs, but the opponent catches onto the Jellicent. Absolutely fine with me. If they go for a farm down here, then they're going to have to tank another Psychic Fangs, so we should be grabbing a shield here, and we should even get another couple of Confusions off. We barely don't get the fast move farm down, but they are in range where one Confusion will take them out, so it doesn't matter that they've got 100 energy. Shadow Ball grabs my shield, but that's fine with me. We are going to see them come in with the Frost Sash, so it is the double ghost backline. We're going to go straight for the Crunch here. Do they respect the damage? They unfortunately do, but it doesn't really matter. I can safely shield this up, and I will be able to take out the Frost Sash. The opponent goes for the Shadow Ball. They come back in with the Dunsparce. This will not be enough damage to take me out, so I go for the full Confusion farm down, come out with the Crunch loaded, and the opponent concedes the match. Into the next battle, we see a Girafarig in the lead, so pretty good matchup as we do resist the ghost type damage, but they could be running Dark Pulse as a charge move, so I will respect the damage from a charge move here. We go for the Psychic Fangs, and that will put them into range where I can just fully Confusion farm them down at this point, and it is the Dark Pulse, so here we go for the Confusion farm down, get the farm down, and the opponent comes in with Surf Fetched here, so I'm pretty confident this is going to be another double fighting backline, so I am feeling very good about this match. Gonna let this move go through, it will take out the Girafarig here, and they get the boost, but it does not matter. They come in with the Shadow Machamp, and the opponent concedes the match. So GG's to that opponent there. Unfortunately, not a lot they could have done against my team comp, but into the next battle, and we see Cresselia in the lead. So once again, very tricky lead situation here. So gonna let the first move go through. I think honestly I probably should just save swap into like Espeon or something, as if it is Cresselia in the lead, then it could potentially be the FP Sticks team with Zangoose and Lickitung in the back, which is probably the case here. We also saw the Zangoose in the back in the last Cresselia lead that we saw, just a double save swap instead. But yeah, I think if I do see Cresselia in the lead next time around, I will probably play this differently to bait out the potential Lickitung or Zangoose, and that way I can at least get the Girafarig aligned to their Lick or Shadow Claw user. But here they do come in with their Zangoose, they get the farm down, we come in with our Shadow Girafarig, they throw straight away on alignment, so I'm actually going to use a shield here, but they can come back in with the Cresselia, snipe me with a charge move, and at this point it is going to be game over. Grass Knot takes me out. A Grass Knot is pretty much going to one-shot a Bruxish, even though it is non-stab here. It does so much damage, and I'm just going to concede the match there. So definitely didn't play that one too well. I think there are ways I could play better next time I face that team. But into the next battle, we see a Shadow Snorlax in the lead. So we are once again resisting the Lick damage, which is great. We go for a Psychic Fangs, getting the debuff. We do connect as well, and now I can just safely shield this up, and that Confusion might even take them out here, and it does take them out there. So we are now going to see a Quagsire coming in. We're going to go for another Psychic Fang straight away. This is going to debuff them once again, and I can safely just let the Shadow Girafarig go down. So Mud Bomb takes us out, but we come in with the Bruxish. They've got a Frost Sass in the back. So once again, just going to spam these Psychic Fangs. They've got 2 shields. They're going to start using them now, so that's fine with me. Going to shield this up. Could be the Shadow Ball. It is the Shadow Ball, and now we can go for another Psychic Fangs. And I'm hoping this will debuff them enough where one Confusion takes them out, but it barely doesn't take them out. So I'm just going to swap into my Espeon, fully sacrificed to here, as Espeon goes down to the Shadow Ball. But it doesn't matter, we're now one Confusion away from the Psychic Fangs, and from this range into the Shadow Quagsire, it will be enough damage to take them out there, and we take that game. And into the final battle of this video, we see Shadow Girafarig into yet another Dunsparce lead. So just going to play out this lead matchup. It doesn't really matter if we win it or lose it here. We are going to let the first move go through once again, and then probably just overfarm massively, go for a Psychic Fangs, but unfortunately, because of the timing here, we have to use a shield. So now I'm just going to go for 2 more Confusions. We do throw on the appropriate timing, but we are incredibly low. Although at this range, Psychic Fangs does take them out. They come in with the Frost Sass, so I'm just going to go straight for a Thunderbolt. The opponent probably expecting a Psychic Fangs, and that does big damage. We swap into our Bruxish. They've got Trevenant in the back, so not the Jellicent, but I don't think it matters. We just go straight for a Psychic Fangs. They let it go through for whatever reason. I guess they knew it wasn't the crunch, but that's just going to put them into range where I can fully Confusion farm down this Trevenant here, and I will be able to fully farm down the Frost Sass that comes back in, shield once, and this Confusion that went through will be enough damage to take out the Frost Sass, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. Honestly, a really strong team, despite once again being a very glassy team, but you just get to those Psychic Fangs incredibly quickly, and if they don't shield the first one, a lot of the time you can just fully fast move farm down opponents, and they end up losing with both shields remaining. So if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.